Hello, Mark. This is Andrew Spears. This is a tutorial of making your road grader trailer in Fusion 360. We started this project about December 3rd, but I'm here continuing with an online tutorial. But I'm more than happy to come in and give you an in-person tutorial as well. So my friend Alex is going to be focusing on the rear portion of the trailer from the pivot backwards. I'm going to be focusing on the upper third, two-thirds of it, from the pivot up to the tow hitch. So I went ahead and created this model of roughly what's going on, but we'll make it together in Fusion 360. So to begin, we'll create a new design. So we'll do a part design, create new. So then this brings us to our working plane. So to start off, we'll go up to this top left to this browser area. There's gonna be units. We can click on this change active units, then make sure we're in inches. And if once your settings look the same, press OK. And also, I'm going to be using the SolidWorks pan tools. If you want to follow what I'm doing, you can double check what you're using by going to the very top right, clicking on your account, then the preferences. Then it'll bring all of your preferences here, and you can select whatever you'd like. But mainly, I'm using this pan, zoom, and orbit shortcuts as SolidWorks. You can press apply, and should be ready to go. Okay, so to start off this trailer, this middle third is a 4x4 box, 4x4 foot box. So we'll start by making that. So to begin our sketch, we'll go to this top right section where this box is, click on the box, and then we'll go to the top left now to create a sketch. We'll click that, and now it'll prompt us to select the plane we want to sketch in. So doing that now, we'll click here, the sketch top down, and we'll start by creating a rectangle. So we'll start off our drawing at the origin. So we'll click here. And as you can see, you can drag out for your dimensions, but it's gonna be a lot easier to just to type them in. So it's a 4x4 square. So, and we're working in inches, we have to convert these feet to inches. So of course, 4 feet times 12 inches would be 48. So we'll type in 48. And then to switch to this x-axis, we'll press tab on our keyboard and then type in 48 again. And then we'll press enter. And that's gonna be our sketch. In order to get this square in our viewpoint, what we'll do now is we'll use the pan tool by coming bottom center with pan, click it, bring up this hand, and then we'll center it roughly. And as you can see, this isn't the square takes up our entire view model. So what we'll do is we'll use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out of the object. So by scrolling inwards or scrolling towards your monitor, you'll zoom out. And then we'll just keep doing this until we have a good view of what's going on. So then next we're gonna go define the square tube. My understanding is that you will be constructing this frame out of square steel tube, which should be a 2-inch height and all that. So we'll begin by sketching this offset. We'll click the offset under modify. I'll bring up this tab. So with curves selected, we'll click on the perimeter. And so for distance, since it's going to be, the tube's going to be 2 inches thick, we'll go in here, type in 2. As you can see, this is going to go outwards, making our part larger to about 52 inches, which is not what we want. So we'll click the flip so we keep our perimeter of 48 inches. And when it looks like this, press OK. And then, so that is the perimeter of the frame. Of course, this is a 2D object, so we'll go up to top left again, solid. As we're in sketch, we want the solid. And then there's going to be the extrude cube. So we'll click this extrude cube, and it'll bring up these settings now. So we'll click the profile, which will be this perimeter line, so this inside perimeter line in between those two. As you see now, it's all blue. So the tube will have a height of 2 inches. So we'll type in 2, then enter. and then it extruded the object, so now it's 3D. Granted, you cannot see this in this viewpoint, so you can either use the square up up in the top to rotate your view, or you can actually press down on your middle mouse button as so, and you can rotate the object. And then of course, you can click on the object to reset your viewpoint. Cool. Um, so now beginning with the, we'll start simple. So we'll start with this angle iron here and here, these 2 points as well. So we'll start by creating those two. So what we're gonna do next to we're gonna make sketches on the inside of this plane, but as you see when I click this front, we can't see the other side of the wall. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reset my viewpoint, zoom out a little bit. So what I'm gonna do to solve this, I can see inside this square, as I'm gonna go up to the top center of inspect, go down to section analysis. So we'll start off by clicking these yellow planes. So we'll click the Z axis, and we want to go to the center of the object. So the object is 40 inches long. So half of 40 is 24. So we'll type in 24 and then yeah, so now it's split in half. So click OK. If you ever want to go back to the full object, what you can do is in the top left, a little bit lower than the toolbar, there's going to be all these folders. So that's going to be underneath the analysis. If we click the drop down menu on the analysis, this brings up our section view. So I can click this eye and it takes away that section view. But for right now, we'll leave it on. Okay, so now to sketch on the inside of this for our angle iron, we'll use either the box or the middle mouse to rotate your view. Oh, hold up, there we go. There we go. So now we're looking at the inside. So we have not defined we haven't defined which one's forward-facing direction, so we'll do that now. So to start by sketching these angle irons to smooth out the dirt, we'll go to create a sketch. And then now we want to sketch on the inside of this tube. So what we'll do is we'll click on the inside of the tube, and it'll bring up our sketch plane. So now I'm going to use the pan tool to center this a bit more. And there we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to assume that this middle angle iron is going to be exactly halfway backwards. So we'll start by bringing a line from the origin. So you click on the middle of the origin, now it brings up this line. So keeping in line with this bottom row, we'll go to 24, we'll type in 24 inches, as that will be our halfway point. And a good way to check whether or not your level is along that green line is going to say 180 degrees. If I was off like this, like 173 or even below 174. So we want to make sure that's at 180 degrees, and it should auto lock. So once again, we're at 24, so I'll press enter to make a line. And cool, we'll start creating the angle iron. So what I have written down is that the angle iron, somewhere in here, the angle iron is 4 inches tall and 4 inches wide. So to create that profile, we'll go back to this line, and it brings up our line function. So at this point, what we specified is halfway. We'll start off by creating the angle iron. So my thoughts for the angle iron is that we'll have so it's 4 inches tall, and this beam's only 2 inches tall. So we'll have the middle of the angle iron connected to the tubing. So in order to accommodate for that, so 2 inches here, so we'll go another inch beyond. So we'll type in 3 inches, and then we'll press enter. And then to get rid of this reference line that we made, we'll actually go up to modify and hit the trim tool. This is one of the tools you can use to get rid of lines. So you can click on the line at both points. So now this line itself is isolated. So now to continue creating this angle iron, we'll go back to making a line, and we'll click at the bottom of this point here, as we wanted to go an inch below, so we'll type in 1 inch. Click line again. So now we can start defining the angle iron. So it's going to be 4 inches long. So we'll click, and then pressing left click on your mouse will keep the line tool open. Pressing enter will submit the drawing and then close it. So we'll use click. We'll just be clicking with our mouse to speed up the process. So also in my notes, I have it specified that this angle iron is 1/4 inch thick. So we'll start by typing in 0.25, left clicking, keep up the sketch tool, and then to go back for the thickness of this part, we will go 3.75 inches to accommodate for that 0.25 inch thickness. We'll click again, then we'll go up another 3.75 for the thickness, as we're already 1/4 inch tall. Click, then you can zoom in for this next part, and then just attach these points as so. So here we'll zoom out, center ourselves, and we will go, so since we're here, we'll go create the other, we will go create the other angle iron as well. So I'm using the pan tool. For right now, we'll offset the starting point a little bit behind it. So what we can do is we can click here, and let's say we want it 1.5 inches behind. So we type in 1.5, click. Then to escape this line tool, I'm going to do is I'm actually going to press escape on my keyboard, and it gets rid of the line. Just actually, yeah. So then again, to create this angle iron, 4 inches tall, so we'll type in 4. I press enter. Then we'll go across 0.25 for the thickness, click, down 3.75, click, across 3.75 for a total length of 4 inches. We'll go down 0.25 for the thickness, and then we'll connect it back. So now these two angle irons are connected to each other by this line, which we don't want for later. So we'll go back up to modify, click the trim tool, and then we'll click that line. And now we have two sketches of the angle iron. So now we'll hit finish sketch, and the computer loads everything. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of zoom out now, just kind of get a full picture of what's going on. So I'm going to go up to this analysis and actually hide the section view so we can see exactly what's going on. So now we're going to go extrude these angle irons as we have the profile. So to do that, I'm going to zoom in on this first one, because this middle one is going to be straight across. This one's going to be quite simple. So to extrude again, we'll go up to create, to extrude. For the profiles, we'll select this box, and this box. And then we'll zoom out. And as we want to reach to the other side, what we'll do is that we will make sure it's on one side and then two objects. And so we want the other object to be the other wall. So what we'll do is we'll zoom out, zoom all the way around, and click the inside wall. As you can see, it made the part, and it looks all good. So we'll, and for editing these objects later on, make sure for these operations you click new body, so it's a separate item. And so we'll click OK, as everything looks right. And there we go, that's our first angle iron. So then going back to the sketch, as you can see, the sketch is hidden right now. So we'll go down to the drop-down menu, click drop-down the sketches, and then we'll click view to view this other sketch that disappeared. Now to extrude this one, we'll do the same thing. Extrude in top right, click on these squares, and we will go two objects, same thing, across. And here, I'm going to pan, just have a better view. So with that all looking good, once again, for operation, we'll go to new body and click OK. So according to this sketch diagram, we do want this at an angle. The angle isn't specified, but it looks to be about, again, the same distance of like 1.5 inches roughly for this angle. So what we'll do is we will right click on this object, then there'll be this move tab. So we'll click move. And what we'll do now actually is that we will drag the circle as it'll rotate the object. So I'm figuring 15 degrees looks about right. You can, of course, type in if you want a bit more, but for right now, I'll stick at 15. So right now, this angle iron is overlapping with the straight piece. So we will drag it down so it's out of the way, and then across. So it's in the middle like this as so it touches. So that looks okay there. So we'll click accept. Now to get these, I'm gonna hide this sketch now. Now to get these, now to get this angle iron to touch these walls so it looks a bit more proper, what we'll do is we'll zoom in on this one edge. We'll right click on it, and now there's gonna be an extrude option. So now we'll do extrude the object, and we'll click this wall, and this time we'll use join. And there, that's how you get the angle iron to be flush. And then we'll rinse and repeat on the same side using the pan tool to come over, zooming in. And then we'll select this inside face. Sometimes you need to zoom in a bit more to get a better selection. Right click, extrude. Then we'll do two objects, select the inside wall so it mates up well, and then click OK. Nope. Hold up. Okay, cool. And this is kind of what we're looking at right now. So we have our angle iron set. So did a little bit better job on this one. So now this next part is this angle iron setup to chew up the dirt. I admit it's been a while, so I don't exactly remember how you want this. Excuse me. I don't exactly remember how you want this angle iron setup to be, but my own 2 cents was this kind of. We'll have again the same diameter square tubing going across, and then we'll have these angle irons at a 45-degree angle with adjustable holes. So you, yeah, it's just so that those could break up the dirt, and of course they're offset, as you can see. So that's my own 2 cents of how I thought that should be done. So to start off on, we'll go back to our own part. So to begin the sketching of these angle iron shapes, we will create a plane to sketch off of. So we'll go up to construct, click offset plane, then we want to sketch off the inside of this tube. So we'll click on the inside. So doing the math between I want 6 angle irons and 40 inches across, I want these to be 6 inches spaced 6 inches apart. So the tube, of course, is 2 inches wide. So we need 4 more inches to get the 6. So click there. Now to start sketching, we will go top left to create a sketch. Then we'll click on that plane we just started to sketch on. And then now, of course, our view is blocked by the bar. So we'll go back to analysis and then rehide the section view. Now we can see inside, everything's looking proper. So now we'll go to click on the line. So now we get our grid up again. Each one of these grid squares is 1/2 inch. So we know from this angle iron down here that 2 squares down is 1 inch. So we'll click down here and then we'll start sketching this angle iron. So of course it's 4 inches long, so we'll type in 4, and then we'll press tab to get the degrees if it goes over here. So we'll type in 45 degrees, left click. So, and then I'm going to do the other angle, so I'm going to press escape, go back to the line, start again at this vertex. Then of course it's 4 inches long, so we'll type in 4. Then the lock in this angle, so since we're going the other way now, it's going to be 90 degrees plus 45, which is, of course, 135 degrees. So now we'll left click on the mouse so we can keep sketching. So go back the other way. The angle iron's corners thick, so we'll type in 0.25. Tab, make sure it's at 90 degrees. Left click. And then of course to get back for the thickness, it's gonna be 3.75 inches. Click tab, we want 90 degrees. Left click, and we'll go back this way. 4 inches long. Tab, 90 degrees. Click. Oop, almost. I did 4 inches, that's my bad. Sorry, we'll do that again. 3.75, they count for the thickness. And we'll type in 90 degrees. Oop, where's my mouse? Hold up. One more time. 3.75 inches. And then 45 degrees. And then lastly, we'll zoom in and connect these dots. And then we'll press finish. We'll go now extrude this object. I'm thinking for this object we'll just use 1/2 inch thick angle iron, so we'll type in 0.5 for the distance, new body of course, and we'll click OK. And that will be our angle iron extrusion. Now in order to mount this angle iron to the to like a pin system or something, I was thinking we would use a 1 inch wide, 1/2 inch thick plate steel. So going again, we'll go on constructions, we'll click view on this plane so we can draw on it again. So we'll create a sketch again, click on the yellow plane we just highlighted again, brought us back to the origin, so we'll pan back over. Oops, will let me. So we'll go back to line. So starting off at this vertex, I was just gonna say it would be 1 inch wide. So of course start off in the middle, so we'll do 0.5 inches for our first point. So now I'm gonna press escape. Now we're gonna go up and select the rectangle. We'll start on this outer point. We'll drag it out. I was thinking to give the most amount of mounting options, we'll do it. We'll make this 10 inches tall, so we'll type in 10. And then to lock in this width, I'll type in 1 inch. And then enter to lock in the part. So we'll click down here at the vertex. Roughly, it's not on the same sketch plane, so that's why we'll not be able to snap. But we'll click roughly about where that other vertex is. And we'll draw out to where it meets up with the line, about there. And then going back about there. And now we'll go up to modify for trim tool to get rid of these lines. And then there we go. We have our angle iron, or our plate steel. So now in order to make this meet, we'll go back to solid and we'll click extrude, click on this plane, then 1/2 inch thick, and it's wanting to cut, so we're actually going to do a join or a new body. We'll click enter, and then there we go. So we have our separated plate steel from our angle iron. And now in order to create these holes for a pin system so we can lock in the height, what we'll do is we'll click create a sketch, and we're going to sketch directly on this plate steel face. Browse back to the origins, we'll pan back over, and then we'll go click create a line. So start the vertex all the way down here, go up 1.5 inches, and we'll click enter. And now we're going to go back to create. Now we're going to do center circle, click on this point we just made. Then I was thinking 0.75 inch diameter, and then we'll press enter. So now we're going to go back to this modify tool. We're going to click this trim tool, get rid of that line, get rid of that line, and now go back to solid, click extrude. Then on this profile, we'll click on that circle we just made. I'm going to rotate it just so we can see what we're doing. And then for operation, we're actually going to do cut, as we want to cut away a hole. So we'll go back to this distance, we'll go 0.5 inches. As you see, it's wanting to go outside, so we'll put a negative sign in front to make it go all the way through. That all looks good, so we'll click OK, and then there we go. Now we have a hole for a pin to slide through. So now to copy this hole up and beyond, we'll go down to create pattern, and we'll do pattern along a path. So I think default option is bodies. So we want to click features because this hole is actually a feature of this part we just made. So we'll click on the circle as so, and then the path. So we want I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see a little bit better what's going on. So now we want oops, I think I lost it. Sorry, so I'll go back to pattern, circle and pattern, features, select the circle. So now back to the path. We're going to select this one of these lines on this plate steel, as we want the circle to go up the line or in line with that. So now you can see there's this dashed construction line that's telling us that's where the circle is going to go. So now for the distance, so the entire plate is 10 inches long minus the 1.5 inches, as that's where our circle starts. And then I'm going to take off another 1/2 inch just so the holes don't go beyond the part. So I'm going to type in 8, and then there we go. That's the holes. So this quantity thing, you can go up or down for how many holes you would like. I think I'm going to go about to 8. That gives us a good bit of options. So now we'll click OK, and then it cuts holes through all of them. Pretty simple. So now I'm going to zoom out just so we can see exactly what's going on with our part. So I'm going to go back to analysis, hide the section view just so we can see the entire part. So as I was saying earlier, I want 6 of these parts, but it's quite a hassle to do that entire process all over again. Luckily, we can actually go copy these items. So we'll right click move and copy, and we'll make sure it's on bodies as we just created a body. We'll select the handle and we'll select the angle iron. The move type should be on free move on default. We're going to want to switch over to translate. So we're going to want this part to come across to the other wall. So it gives us our components, directions. So we're going to want to bring the Y direction. The reason why I know this is in the top right for square, it gives us our axis with X in red, Y in green, and Z in blue. So I was saying I want these spaced out by 6 inches, so I'll type in 6 here and create a copy. And then there we go, we have 2. Now I'm just going to go a bit fast to get all these angle irons in. I'll keep going till I have 6. There we go. Now we have 6, and they're all evenly spaced, more or less. Once we have enough space, we're going to do another one. So actually, I'll throw in another one. Again, copying 6 inches over, copy, done. Now we have 7, all evenly spaced. So now I'm going to go back to sectional view. And so I was thinking what we could do for mounting these was using the same tubular steel, or sorry, square steel that's going to be used for frame. So in order to do that, we can sketch that by going up to construction, offset a plane. So we want this tube, or this square tube, to be mounted off the top of the frame. So we'll click on the top of the frame. It gives us a big orange frame. We want to be touching, of course, to leave the distance at 0 inches. Click OK. So now to start sketching, we'll go to create a sketch, and we're going to click the plane we just created. It's going to bring us back to the origin, so we'll use pan to zoom back over. And now we're going to zoom in on this bottom part. I'll tell you the reason why. So this entire part is 1 inch long, and we want this to be in the center of our tube to go across. So click on one of the vertexes, we'll go across. Either way, we'll do this way, 0.5 inches. as the tube will stick out 0.5 inches. So now we're gonna zoom all the way out. We might need to pan over, C. So we'll click on that all the way down. So 6 inches, we just want to get to the edge of this. 6 inches at 90 degrees sounds good. Now we'll press escape, create this 2-point rectangle. We'll click. Now we're gonna use the pan tool to zoom all the way up at the top here. Zoom out. Back to the rectangle, click here, all the way up. And it's at 90 degrees and across 2 inches. So 48 degrees looks good. And then it's 2 inches thick, so we'll type in a 2. And then there we go. So now zoom back into this line we created. We want to get rid of this. So again, we'll trim tool it out. And that's looking good. Oops. So now as you can see, we have this line going all the way across. Oh, even a little bit. Yeah. So now we're going to extrude this by going the solid, extrude. It's already selected by default, but you might need to select the plane that we just used. And then we want it to be 2 inches tall. It's going to be cutting, but we want a new body. And it should look like that. Press create. Alrighty, so now we're having some collision issues as this handle is being phased in with this tube. So what we'll do to counteract that is we'll go up to construction, make another plane, and we'll click the top of this box. Again, 0 inches because we want to draw directly on top, and press OK. So now we're going to hit create a sketch, click on the orange, bring us all the way back to the origin. We'll zoom all the way back, and then we'll start on this first one. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to create a hole so this can slide freely up and down. So I'll start by clicking here, outline this box, and then now I will go up to offset again like we did at the very beginning, click this outside, then we'll do 1/8 inch for a gap, and if it's going inside but we want to flip the direction so it goes outside, now that looks good, so we'll click OK. We'll go back to solid, extrude, click that rectangle we just made, switch operation to cut. I'm going to rotate the view so we know what's going on. And we're going to do 2 inches so it goes all the way through. It's going the wrong way. Let's type in -2, and then we'll click OK. And that's how it looks. Unfortunately, I cannot get the pattern tool to work as I was showing you, as this method has a bit of collision errors with this big long face. So unfortunately, you would need, in this instance, just because the software can't do it. Oops, sorry, let me get back. You would need to manually do that for every single one. So I'll do that. Okay, so now I've created extrusion holes for all these slots so they can move freely. Alrighty, so now moving on, these pins need something to lock into. Because we put pins in the top, you know, all these dowels are being pushed upwards, so pins not really do too much good other than gravity. So once again, we're gonna make a mounting system for these brackets. So we'll start by creating again another plane. Oops, sorry about that. My headset died or turned off. So we're going to want to weld on some mounting tabs onto the top of this bar. So click the top of this bar. Then we make another plane. Again, distance 0 inches. Create a sketch. Click that orange frame we just made. Oop. Zooming all the way back. We'll start at this one. So we'll use the rectangle function. We'll click on this corner here. And then, of course, it goes over. We're going to make this tab 1/4 inch thick. And then what, 1.25. And that will be our tab. So we'll go back to solid. We'll go extrude. That's selected. So we'll go up. We'll go up 1.25 inches. Yep, that looks about right. And we'll do new body just for ease. And so then now we're gonna make another circle on this. So we have something for the pin to slide through. So we'll click on that head, on that face, brought us back to the origin. We'll zoom all the way back, go here, and we'll click line. So it was, oops, sorry, I'm looking totally at the wrong spot. This is the tab we just created. So it was 1.25 inches wide, which was 0.625. So we can click there for a reference point here. 1.2 inches tall, so we'll go 0.6 inches. So that's gonna be our center. And then the holes on our tabs are 0.75 inches diameter, so we'll do the same diameter here. Use the trim tool, get rid of these reference lines, and then that's looking good there. So go back to extrude, click on the circle. I'm gonna zoom out just to see what we're doing. This tab's only 1/4 inch thick, so we'll type in that. Sorry, we'll do cut, so negative 0.25, and then boom. Oops. Granted, not perfectly lined up as is, but of course can be adjusted. All right, and the copy is tabs along. We'll right click, copy. We'll do bodies, select this square, and then again with our axis up top, we know where we want to go in the y direction. So doing the math of 1/4 inch gap with 1/4 inch gap, and then the bar itself is 1/2 inch thick. So the whole thing will have to get moved over by negative 0.75. Create a copy. Ooh, maybe a little bit more math was 100% there. I think it was 1 inch. Yeah, because that's looking right there. So we'll create a copy, and then there we go. So granted, we want to copy this across. So all these tabs. So I'll walk you through this first one, then I'll get the rest done pretty fast. So we'll click body, create a copy, and then this y distance, -6, and then there you go. So there we just found our spacing. We would know our spacing because I said these angle irons would be spaced up by 0.6 inch or 6 inches. So I'll just go knock that out real quick. Cool, and just like that, we made all our tabs. And then I won't leave it in here just because these holes aren't aligned as is. But in case you did wanted to create a pin to use, what you could do is once again we'll do another plane. We'll click that face because why not? Or actually no, we're gonna select the inside of this circle if we can, or let's click on the outside of this face, and so the entire thing is 1/2 inch thick, so we'll go negative 0.25. As you can see now, the orange is in the middle, so that looks all good to me. And then we'll go create a sketch, click this plane, browse all the way back to the origin, so we'll zoom all the way over, and then we'll go create a line. That's going to be the center of the circle here. So we'll go here, and then for clearance, we'll do a 1/2 inch diameter pin. Click enter, solid, extrude, and then for this pin, we'll actually do we'll do 2 sides this time. New body. Oop, give me the drop down, please. There we go. Now it's selected. So we'll go 1 inch on one side. Yep, that'll be enough. We'll do 1 inch on the other side. Yep, there we go. And we'll click OK. Actually, I guess with this clearance, sorry, let me zoom back in. Actually, with the 1/2 inch, that would be enough. So then again, once again, we'll use the copy paste feature just to shoot them all across. So I'll do that real quick. Oh, and there we go. We have pins for all of our trail for all of the angle iron. Okay, that was a good bit of work. And then again, we're not going to go do that all again. So what we're going to do is we're going to click this back face, gives us a side view. Now we're going to left click drag over all these parts. Now they're all highlighted blue, which is great. So now we're going to right click, copy, and then we'll throw this off in the X direction. As you can see, X is forward of it, so we'll do 7 inches. Let's just see how. Oh, of course, credit copy, so we know what we're looking at. And yeah, that looks about right there. And then of course this is gonna be as useful because these are in line. So actually, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna offset them. So once again, our Y is gonna be this left to right. So I don't know, we'll do like 3 inches. How does that look? Maybe 2.5. Yeah, something like that will work. Cool. Then of course you can always use this copy, paste, to put another angle iron here. But for right now, I'll show you how to move this block over. So actually we'll right click on the face of this. We'll click this extrude here, and then we'll go to object, and then we'll click the outside of this wall, and we'll do join. So now it's level, but now what about this other side? Because this other side's actually sticking off. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna right click on it, extrude. This time we're actually gonna cut, and we're gonna do two objects. We'll do this inside face, so it gets rid of that block as you can see there, and click OK, and there you go. Now that is flush on both sides. And so just the recap, we've done, whoop, if this can look a bit nicer. Okay, so the recap, we've done the entire frame, we've done these angle irons, and then we've even done the drop downs. So this would be a great time to save, because that would be terrible if I lost it because I didn't save this entire time. But now we're good, now we're saved. So definitely save often, because that would have really sucked if this crashed and I lost all this work because I spent like a good chunk of time doing this. So now this very last part is going to be this hitch receiver, this section right here. So what I was envisioning for that, all right, let's see. Well, so I was envisioning for that, I'm not exactly which truck you were planning on for using for this thing, but according to a quick Google search, the average hitch receiver tow ball sits about 20 inches off the ground. So, so start off with that. Up before we join any of this tube up to that tow hitch, we will create the platform for the tow ball to mount onto. So to do that, we will create a plane. We'll click the top of this trailer frame, or the top of the frame, and then I said 20 inches. So this is already 2 inches off the floor, so we'll go 18 inches. And that will give us our approximate height of what a standard truck height would be. So now we're going to go create a sketch, click on this orange plane we just made. Of course, use pan over to get away. And then now for the distances. So I was thinking we could have this about 3 feet away. So use center line to find the center. So again, it's 48 inches long. So do 24 for the center. and then we'll go here, out, and then we will do 3 feet. So 3 times 12 is 36, and then click, and we'll create a line here, as this is our center point. I was thinking maybe a 6-inch or like a 1-foot section of bar for this to attach to. So we'll click down on this point here, press escape, click down here. So we'll make this 12 inches for 1 foot. And then of course we're gonna be using this square tube again. It's 2 inches wide. And then we'll press enter. Then we'll use this trim tool to clean up all these lines for constructions. So get rid of that line, get rid of that line, this inside line. And then there we go. So now in order to mount this frame to this section, we're going to make this toe hitch spot a 3D object first. So of course that means we're gonna have to extrude, and then we will do both directions just so we have just to keep around the 20 inches tall mark, and then we'll do 2 inches or 1 inch. So we'll go 1 inch each side symmetrically for a 2-inch square as we've been using, and then there we go. Okay, so now to connect this hitch receiver point down to the trailer, we're going to need to sketch a few lines here. So to start off with that, we'll create a sketch. We'll click the outside of the frame, and then now in the sketch pile on the right, which we haven't used too much, we will click 3D sketch. So now we're going to pan the camera back, kind of 3D-like this, so we can see both points. So we're going to go hit a line. We'll start our own trailer vertex here, all the way down to here. We'll bring it all the way across to here, then up, and all the way back. And then there we go. And then to make this the square tube we've been using, we will extrude on that 2 inches. It's going the wrong way. That. Make sure you select new body and click OK. And then there you go. And then we'll rinse and repeat for this other side. So we'll go create sketch, click this outside area, make sure 3D sketch is still selected. Hold up. And using the box and whatnot to get back so you can see what's going on. Select line again, start that vertex, go down one below it, one all the way across, up, all the way back. When that looks good, go extrude again, -2 inches, make sure it's on new body, and press OK. And there you have it. That is a trailer you made in SolidWorks. One thing you can do is that there's plenty of online models out there that actually will have a tow ball attachment or like a hitch. What do I want to say? The thing where the tow ball plugs into for a trailer. There's various models like that exist on the internet, so you can download it and insert the part. Oops. And again, we'll save. And that is that is the first part for creating this trailer in SolidWorks. Oop, where did the image go? Yeah, that is the first 2/3 of the trailer there. Oops, image went away. Alrighty, so we made the part now, and for this to actually be useful, we need to know the dimensions of all these things. So one thing that you can do for real quick things is you can go to inspect, click measure, and it'll tell you a variety of things. Like if I click here to here, it'll tell me the angle, 90 degrees. Click this clear selection to view other things. Like if you wanted the angle for this angled angle iron, click that and that. It's all 75 degrees. And it's stuff like that where it'll tell you some real quick things like 54-degree clocking angle and things like that. But for the more important stuff, we'll go to very, very top left and go design, all the way to drawing, and then from design. So a real easy way just to get started is the click automatic, Um, and then ASME, but these don't necessarily matter too much. And then we'll just do sheet size E, just so it's the biggest, just so you could put the most amount of stuff on it. Granted, for printing, you might need to size this down to a standard A size sheet. But for right now, we'll do E, just so you could see, just so we could keep the scale a bit high. So we'll press OK, and it's going to generate this for us. So we'll click on this, and then whenever it's done, should just open. Yeah, loading, loading, loading. Loading still. Nope, there we go. All right, that took a second. All right, so there's a bunch of these automated ones, but for right now, we can just kind of just do this. Turn up the density a little bit, see a bit more. Try to select this entire box. Oh, there. Oh, it almost wants this. That might be a little too much. We might just leave that a bit lower. Okay, we'll just click OK. Oh man, my computer's not liking this at all. Let's go back up here to move just so we can select things. Hopefully drag it down. And then I'm using control and or I'm using the scroll wheel to zoom in again. Oh, my computer's not liking this at all. There we go. Cool. So it gives us some automatic dimensions. These can be useful or not, but to give us our overall section views, what we're going to do is we're going to go up to top left, and we're going to have our auxiliary views. So click that one. So this one's going to tell us to select an edge. So click that. Ooh, it's huge. We'll put that up top here. And that'll be our section view of the top. And we can move this over. And we can do another projected view of the side. There we go. Granted, that one's not as helpful, but yeah, as you can see, gives you all the different angles, like behind as well. But that, frankly, that dimension is quite easy. So actually, might just leave that out because that's not very helpful. Alrighty. So to get more of these dimensions, what we're gonna do is, well, let's see if this auto dimensioning thing works. Even though it is quite a bit loud, so we might just do it manually. Luckily, dimensioning is pretty easily. Um, so we can start on the perimeter, for example. So we can click here, and then, oh, actually, hold up. For these dimensions, we can click that point. So at that point, it'll give us our whole length. And then since this is just one solid bar, there we go. Then for these inside angle irons, click on this outside, that length. Then, then for this one's a bit more tricky. We can select that and that, get our inside angle, and then we can take, or sorry, let me move that. Go back to dimensioning, click up here, and I can give you the length of that inside edge. Then go out here for the outside edge, which is the same. So actually, I'll just leave that there for now. Using pan, move over here. We'll use dimensioning for that, then for that, and then for that. And we can use this for this inside edge, 63 degrees. And of course, this one's going to be that. And this will give you your clocking angle. That to, I need to reselect that from this line to that. Oh, can you give that to that? Yeah, there we go. Yes, that's your clocking angle there. Oop. And then of course for more of these dimensions for how far up, 24 inches. Go here for that to that, 7, 8. But this is very much just filling it out, not soup, not it's just a bit tedious, but oop, that's not what I want to do. Just a little bit tedious, but that is the gist of it for your main dimensions. You can always do vertical, vertical, that as well. There we go. Luckily, there are engineering standards, ASME, ISO standards that tell you how to make these drawings, but for your own personal need, you can kind of just use these dimensioning tools to get the angles you want. But yeah, that's kind of it for this first part. I'm hoping it was useful, and I hope to work forward with you soon.